It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Ohio State Associate Head Women's Basketball Coach, Coach Carla Moorow. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into coaching in college women's basketball?
Well, growing up, my dad was a coach. He coached football, girls basketball, and baseball. So I actually used to sit with him on the bench for the girls basketball game. So I knew early on that coaching was what I wanted to do.
Of course, what was it like going to Tulsa?
It was a great experience. Not a lot of people know this, but my freshman year was only the second year that the program was reinstated for women's basketball. So I had the opportunity to, basically start, the groundwork and build something special moving forward.
What was it like, obviously, wearing the Tulsa green jersey?
It was great. I mean, the blue, the gold, the white, those were our colors, the Golden Hurricane. It was just a great experience overall. I love the athletics part about it, and also the academics.
Of course, during your time at Tulsa, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the court?
I scored a career high 33. It was crazy because I had no idea that that's what was going on. I wondered why the crowd was standing as I was shooting my free throws. I was like, what's going on? I didn't know till after I got taken out of the game. That I had scored a career high 33 points. So, people talk about being in a zone. I guess you could say I was in a zone that game. So,
Of course, during your time at Tulsa, what was it like playing against ECU and Old Dominion?
Actually, when I was at Tulsa, we were in the WAC. So we played Hawaii, Fresno State, Boise State, Rice. But it was pretty cool getting a chance to go to Hawaii every year.
What was it like to get your first start in coaching as a director of operations?
I was just very thankful that I got the opportunity, knowing that I wanted to get into coaching. Just having the opportunity to step in as a director of operations, I learned a lot of things that you have to know to build your program. I dealt with the budget, equipment, compliance, academics. So basically a lot of the groundwork.
What was it like, obviously, going from Missouri to Colorado?
Change of climate for sure. You have the mountains, you have the fresh air in Colorado. So, and then obviously a different time zone. But, when I left Missouri State, I had the opportunity to go work with my former head coach and the staff that coached me. So it was a great opportunity and a great experience.
How was that like, obviously, as you said, you worked with your former head coach?
It was good because her and I had a good relationship, player to coach. So I knew her, she knew me, and she mentored and helped develop me. And it was a good experience.
What was that feeling like of going to Xavier and getting your first assistant coaching job?
To be honest with you, it was a little overwhelming. Moving from Colorado to Ohio, but it was great. I mean, that was what I wanted. I wanted to be an assistant coach. I wanted to have the opportunity to be on the floor, recruit, and Kevin McGuff gave me that opportunity at a pretty young age, and we've developed our professional relationship moving forward, and it's been great.
How was that feeling like when you got the call from Chicago Sky to join their assistant coaching role?
I went a little back and forth. It's one thing to coach college players, but at that time I was thinking it's a total another thing to coach professionals. But the players that I coached were great. great attitudes. They wanted to learn, they wanted to work, and they were really open and accepting of me and my family.
During your time at Chicago Sky, what was it like, obviously, coaching the professional athletes?
It was great. I mean, our schedule was a little bit different from college, but they are very particular about their workouts, what they want to get better at daily, and how they want to go about it. And just, it was a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth as, how can I help you get better? What are the things that we need to do for you to get better? And I like the open communication.
What were some of the game days like as the assistant coach with the Chicago Sky?
Well, a lot of times I had to scout. So we would watch video before practice, and we would watch video before practice, or shoot around. So just walking the team through, what the other team's going to do, how they're going to guard us, what we need to do to guard them, and then just getting some shots up. Like I said, like there's players that are very particular about their routine and their game day. So just helping them get through that. After shoot around, I would try to take a little bit of time, to myself to mentally prepare myself to get ready for the game.
What are some of the things that you took back with you on the college level after your time as an assistant coach on the WNBA level?
A lot of the things that I took back were player development things. So just being really detailed, being really to the point with, how you're trying to develop a player's skills. This was the first time in my coaching career in the WNBA that I had the opportunity to really hone in on each individual player and what they needed, just because I had more time. So I took back a lot of those skills and those strategies that I came up with in the WNBA.
Of course, during your time with the Chicago Sky, what was it like, obviously, coaching famous players like Candace Parker?
Well, Candace wasn't there when I was there. So she got there, I think, 2 years after I left. So I was coaching Courtney Vandersloot, Stephanie Dolson, Diamond DeShields, and Allie Quigley, and Cheyenne Parker, Kalia Copper. It was really, it was a great opportunity because they were all coming into their own. They weren't where they are now. Obviously, they weren't WNBA champions, but, very respectful females that were really, really good players and really worked hard behind the scenes. Like they work harder than people know.
What was it like when you got the call from Ohio State to join them as the associate head coach?
It was a surprise. But I had a previous working relationship with Kevin McGuff. I knew him, I trusted him. It's funny because when he called me to come to Xavier, he said, "We have a really young team, but I think we have a chance to be really good." And 2 years later, we were playing in the Elite Eight. And then this time when he called me, he actually said the same thing. He said, "We have a really young team, but I think we have a chance to be really good." And this year, those young players grew up, and we were playing in the Sweet 16. So I trust him. I know what he's about. I know who he's about, and that made it easier to make that transition.
What are some of the things that you've accomplished so far at Ohio State?
I don't necessarily look at the things I've accomplished. I look more at like what our team has accomplished and what our players have accomplished. JC Sheldon, for one, I work with her a lot. She's developed so much since her freshman year. She went from second team Big Ten last year to first team Big Ten, getting AP honorable mentions. She's had a great season. She's had a great career. And she's done a great job of, taking ownership of her game and getting better every day. Our team just winning the Big Ten championship this year was amazing. I know how hard they work. I know the sacrifices that they make because, I'm in the gym with them every day. So to see them buy into each other, buy into the team, and to have, a great result at the end of the year was amazing. We never talked about winning the Big Ten. We always just talked about the process of getting our team better daily. And, to end up winning the conference at the end of the season just showed that, what we were about every day paid off.
What was it like, obviously, coaching in the Big Ten and coaching teams like Penn State?
The Big Ten is tough. I mean, it's a tough conference. Just as you saw this past season, how many teams we had in the Sweet 16, and then teams that advanced, and then last year how many teams we had in the Sweet 16. So the Big Ten it's a tough conference. It's every game that you have, whether it's home or away, it's going to be a tough game. You have to prepare because teams are preparing for you. So it's tough. Like, we enjoy it 100%. Our players, they buy into our scouting reports. They know players on the other team. The players know them. So it's very competitive.
Of course, for you, what was it like on Selection Sunday when they announced that you were in the tournament?
Well, we were just excited because we felt like the 2019-2020 season, we done enough. We played in the Big Ten tournament championship. So we felt like we had done enough and that we were going to get selected, for the NCAA tournament. And then COVID happened. And then, last year, we couldn't play in the tournament. So our players were very hungry. They felt like they waited forever to get that opportunity. And it was great because once we got it, like, we seized it and we made the most of it. And we enjoyed it. And as a coach, like, I really respect the way that our team, their approach to the tournament.
What were some of the typical game days like during the tournament?
Well, it kind of depended on when we played. So if we played earlier in the day, we would have a team breakfast, walkthrough, and then the players would go back, take a nap, and then we would head to the game. If we played later in the day, we would have breakfast, we would go to shoot around, and walk through the other team's offense, prepare for their defense, and then come back and have a team meal, and the players would take a nap.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped build for Ohio State women's basketball program?
I just honestly, I try to lead by example. I just try to let them see that you can work hard. Hopefully things will work out for you. But for me, I'm really living a dream. My dream was to be a coach at the college level, and the fact that I've gotten to do that for a long time, I just kind of try to take everything day by day and just lead by example.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to go on the college women's basketball level?
I think the biggest thing that, from a recruiting perspective, coaches like players that are very coachable. You can develop some skill. You can help with the talent, but if you're not open to being coached, you're going to have a hard time at the college level.
What are some of the things that you look at in these prospective student athletes when on the road?
I look at, are they skilled? Are they smart basketball players? Like, do they understand the game? Are they unselfish? Are they going to make the pass to the open player? Are they going to make the right read to the open player? And, what are they doing defensively? On the defensive end of the floor, are they resting? Or, are they guarding the ball? Are they being in help? Are they, just basic defensive things? Because that's what's really important at the next level. I kind of look at it as a pyramid. The younger you are, there's more people playing. And the older you get, the pyramid kind of gets smaller. So, everybody, once you get to the college level, they're going to be talented. They're going to be able to score the ball. They're going to be able to play defense. But how do you separate yourself? And then, you go to the WNBA, and now you're at the top of the pyramid, and it's really small. There's 144 players. So how are you going to separate yourself out of those 144?
What does the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes when at Ohio State?
It just kind of depends on the time of the year. Obviously, if they're coming in the fall and we have a football game, we'll take them to the football game. The football staff has been great working with them. They're very open to the players that we have on campus and meeting them and talking to them. Gene Smith does a great job with our incoming players, making them feel welcome. So if it's the football time, then, obviously we'll take them to a football game. If it's not football time, then we'll do a lot more with our players and our team.
Was it like, obviously, as a coach, seeing those players on the official visit get to put on that scarlet red jersey?
It's cool to see. It's cool to see. Like, it kind of brings you back to reality where you're working at a great university that has a lot of pride and tradition, and just seeing the players, the way they respond to, I have on an Ohio State jersey, even if it's for 10-15 minutes, just the way that they, them and their families, just have a pride in it. And like I said, it brings you back to reality that, hey, this is a great place. Like, people want to be here. People have pride when they put on the Ohio State jersey.
What advice would you give high school athletes looking to become college women basketball players?
I would say be coachable. Develop your defensive skills. I know a lot of players think that scoring the basketball is the way to go, but if you look at our team this year, like, yes, JC and Taylor scored a lot of points, but our defense is what carried us at times. And I think that on any level, if you can stand out defensively, you're going to give yourself a chance to be on the floor.
What advice would you give those college women basketball players looking to go into the WNBA or Athletes Unlimited or overseas?
There's only so many spots. So, one, have an open mind about it, because you could always take a different route. You don't have to go directly to the WNBA. But two, like, there's, you have to separate yourself. You have to work hard every day. You have to be committed to the process. But you also have to be, open to, if you get rejected or if you don't get picked up, how are you going to handle yourself? Because you still have that next year to get better and have an opportunity.
What advice would you give future college coaches looking to get started in the industry of coaching?
I would say if this is your passion, if this is something that you want to do, then go in it full force, because it's going to take a lot of your time. It's going to take, you're going to have to make sacrifices and decisions. But if college coaching or coaching in general is what you want to do, go into it full force, with an open mind, knowing that, everything that you do daily is going to be centered around coaching. You're developing and mentoring young women or men that, are people, and they're going to have people problems that you're going to have to help them work through at a young age.
What advice would you give those college coaches looking to go on to the WNBA level?
Just be ready for the transition. It's not hard. It's probably a little bit, the WNBA is more centered around, player development, scouting, and game preparation, as opposed to college where, you're dealing with academics, you're dealing with compliance. There's just a lot more on the outside of college basketball. The WNBA is really to the point when it comes to basketball. So, is it a transition? Absolutely, like anything in life. But it's not a bad transition at all. You kind of get to do more of the coaching.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Ohio State women's basketball program at?
I'm at Coach Carla 18 on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I think they're all the same. And then at Ohio State WBB.
Thank you again, Coach Carla Moorow, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Ohio State women's basketball program.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. You can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Carla Moorow, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
All right, you have a good one.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.